Sharon, and thank you everyone always for the warm welcome, but more than anything for the experience of being in community with all of you. And in that amazing reading and that amazing song that followed it, couldn't you feel the energy of it all? Couldn't you feel the connection? The rivers of energy? And we're all here today because we have felt that at some level, right? We felt the call of spirit. We felt that beckoning invitation to something larger than ourselves. And for whatever reason in the grand plan that we will never understand as physical beings, we're all here together in the same moment. And I have tremendous gratitude for that today. So in that spirit of connection, I want to tell you a little bit about how I was led to what I feel impressed upon to speak about today. So one of the things that always moves me, and moves me here today too, of coming together with fellow students, with teachers, with friends, and people who will likely become friends, is that don't you experience often how circles come back around, right? That's something that passed you and you thought that was a moment, then comes up again. So I was thinking about what is the connecting link for today, because one of the teachers that came to me through a friend of a friend whose mother did this work has some great teachings about the connecting link, which I've come to visualize as a hand reaching out that brings us into that next stream of energy. And one night, I don't remember which night this past week, I was lucky enough to be near my phone when Laura Wooten popped up because she was live and just decided to sing, right? And I know all of you, she's part of this community, and I know how she enhances the services when she's part of it with her marvelous singing. And I know you were there, Leslie, because I heard her say, "Hi, Leslie." And what she started off with was this song that has the refrain of, "I don't care what they say, I won't stay in a world without love." And it's about somebody who's closing themselves away because they won't stay in a world without love. And I felt Laura's amazing musical vibration just waft through my kitchen. And as my husband, Jim, came through, we literally just started dancing in our kitchen without words, just listening to her music. And then he continued to walk on his way. And I was so grateful to her, but what I kept hearing in my head through the next days was that refrain of, "I won't stay in a world without love." And I knew that Laura was my connecting link with her beautiful music. And what that brought up in me, and what I want to share with you today, friends, is it's a choice, right? The love is always there. We know that, and yet we forget. And so this song about making a choice to put things away reminds us that the opposite is also true. We can focus on love. We can decide that I'm not feeling it, but I'm going to take a moment and remember it, and then I will be able to feel it again. I will acknowledge that love is all around me, and it will buoy me up, and I will be able to go into the next moment. And in our physical world, particularly in these days, I know how hard that can be. There are so many variables right now that I don't know about you, but I'm having more and more conversations where as we list them, people just start laughing because it's so unimaginable what is happening. Terrible seriousness, terrible grief, so much fear. And yet, like today, we've chosen to have moments where we stand in love, where we stand in community connection, and we let ourselves feel it. There's something magical for me about the autumn, when we hear the leaves, when it's such a backdrop to any moment when you go outside, because there's that sound, right? The different kind of sound of the leaves in the trees, or the rustling as they roll over down the street. They know it's time to rest. They offer us that balance. They offer us that reminder that change is a constant, and that there will be green leaves again. That what makes us perhaps sad at loss rebalances, because what does nature teach us above anything else? And as spiritualists, we always strive to learn and think about natural law, but really the core of it is that everything in nature strives to return to balance and harmony. Which is why when we forget that, we feel so out of sorts, right? The decisions that we make create the world in which we exist. It starts with our personal world, right? It starts with what we decide when we wake up. It may feel from time to time that the darkness, that overwhelming feelings are just simply coming upon us. And what we learn as spiritualists is we can work with that, right? Am I just picking up on what's out there? Am I picking up on my friend? Are these my feelings? And in the end, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because what will continue is what we focus on. So imagine a world where we choose to stay in a world full of love. Where that's the, if you'll excuse the expression, the reboot, right? All this technology that we go to. Like, I don't know where to go with these feelings. I'm going to remember everything that I put my focus on expands. That the love has not disappeared. What has disappeared is my willingness, my conscious awareness to focus on it. The shift can be very subtle. The desire can even be very weak in our very difficult days, but it can create a shift. Think of a time when you've experienced that. Remember what that feeling in your body and your spirit was like. Maybe it was that someone made you laugh out of the blue and you could release that heavier energy. Maybe as you walk down the street, wondering what you could possibly do next with the situation, a little child looked up at you and smiled, and you felt your whole being shift. Or you got a phone call out of the blue and it was someone you'd been longing to hear from, and you felt that friend's love. Remember how fast that shift happened, because you shifted your attention. And it probably wasn't even that your problems or your challenge disappeared, right? It was that it didn't have power over you as much. One of the songs I hold very dear for myself is, at this point, very old one by a folk singer named Holly Near. Some of you may remember her, which has a refrain that says, "I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change." And though that song was written many years before I had ever heard about spiritualism, whenever I hear it, it reminds me of the call of our spiritualist pioneers to look at the world in a different way. Spiritualism will continue to evolve and grow and change. Spirit lets us know they're learning too with us. Those of us who have spent a lot of time on Zoom knows that Spirit has had to do their part to adjust. If you've tried to maintain a circle online, particularly for trance or physical mediumship, you know Spirit is working a little bit differently. We are all learning and growing together in partnership. In different ways, yes. We do not have that wider scope. But our pioneers called us to that, right? And so when we get discouraged, we can also think of the spiritualists who laid the groundwork for us, who showed us that being hopeless did not need to exist. The message of life continues, gives us endless opportunities. Personality, life, purpose continues. So, my friends, are you open and willing? Do you acknowledge all of the partners you have in spirit, not just this physical community, encouraging you, welcoming you into discussion, to truly have the opportunity to be in a world of love, to feel the call over and over, to be in that incredible balance of harmony, the heart of infinite intelligence, in which we feel no limitation. We feel connection with all that there is. And we know that we shine as a divine spark of the source that created us. Isn't that an incredible adventure in which to choose to live with conscious awareness? There are clues all around us calling us to that. Think about what works for you. Think about how you can have more of those moments of remembering. It's about your intention, your awareness, and your sense of the world in which you live is about where you put your focus, what you choose to feel into. It's always there. And when it feels like it's not, remember, it's ourselves who have lost our way. Will living in love immediately change everything that is at play in the world right now, the larger physical world? No. But you will help it shift. You will help those around you shift. You will help your community shift. And that, as more and more of us choose to stand in a place of love, we will change everything. Simple, some days, but it becomes simple the more we do it, right? Think of it as exercise. Think of it as a way to incorporate one more aspect in your spiritual development, in your path. When you feel that bump of, can I do it one more day? Let yourself breathe. Let yourself feel that vibration of love. Look deeply into a smile. And I know that you will feel that joy. The burdens will release. And you will feel more clearly your soul's purpose and intention. And if it doesn't last for another physical moment, do not worry, for you can come around to it again. So I invite you all to think about how, like the leaves blowing around, we can move in and out of our focus, right? We can move in and out and choose what we focus on. We can feel love in stronger and ever more prevalent ways. Because it's a choice. So easy to forget, but so wonderful to remember. So I call you with me into what felt like a miracle through Laura's music. And remember that choosing to stay in a world of love can be a way of life, can be a way that strengthens us in our work, in our relationships. And the more we're able to do that, the more our life will unfold in ways we perhaps could not imagine. Thank you so much.